Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. I love making soups, especially in the winter time. There's something so comforting about a hot bowl of soup. And I'm gonna show you how to make Italian wedding soup. In Italian, it's called Minestra Maritata, which actually means marriage. And it's a marriage of all the flavors in this soup. A combination of greens, aromatic vegetables, and meat. Most of the Italian soups start with pestata. Pestata is a paste of aromatic vegetables. For our pestata, we're gonna need 1 cup of carrots, 1 cup of zucchini, 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of onion, salt and pepper to taste, 5 cloves of garlic. We're gonna need 2 to 3 fresh bay leaves, and we're gonna need some olive oil. To make our pestata, I'm gonna use a food processor because pestata is a paste, so we need to turn these vegetables into paste. So place all your vegetables in a food processor, add a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and we're gonna pulse it until it turns into paste. If you like a little bit more of a texture in your soup, you can just simply cut all these vegetables into tiny little cubes. But I'm sticking to original recipe and making a pestata. For our soup, we're gonna need 4 quarts of chicken broth, and we're also gonna need some leafy green vegetables. I'm gonna use this one, which is a Swiss chard, and I'm gonna use some baby kale. In the original recipe, they use escrow. I just couldn't find one, so I'm just improvising a little bit. I have 8.5 quarts pot here. To our pot, we're gonna add our pestata. And on a medium to high heat, we're gonna heat all these vegetables up. We don't need to brown anything here. As soon as your vegetables are heated up or married, because it's a wedding soup, remember, we're ready to add our chicken stock. So we're gonna add about 4 quarts of chicken stock. We're gonna mix it all together and we're gonna leave it on the stove to simmer for about 30 minutes. As far as our leafy green vegetables, and especially this Swiss chard, we just need to remove those tough ends of the Swiss chard, and we're just gonna simply cut it, like roughly cut it. There are different vegetables that can be used in this soup. You can improvise a little bit, you can modify this recipe to your taste. In the original recipe, as I told you, they use escrow. But you could use spinach, you could use Swiss chard, you can use kale, whatever leafy green vegetables you desire, you can use in that soup. And we just need some greens in there, so just pick your greens. Add all your greens to the soup, and we're gonna continue simmering it on a low heat for about 30 to 45 minutes. For our tiny little meatballs, we're gonna use some ground turkey. We're gonna use some white Italian bread. We're gonna use a little bit of milk to soak the bread. We're gonna use a little bit of Parmesan cheese, some chopped parsley, 2 egg whites, and a zest of 1 orange. We're also gonna need some spices like salt, pepper. I'm gonna use some basil flakes, and I'm gonna use some crushed red pepper. First, soak your bread in milk for about 5 minutes. While our bread is soaking, let's talk about pasta selections, and there are so many different varieties of tiny little pastas that can go in this soup. Like this one's called farfallini, that's tiny little bows. But original recipe calls for this pasta, which are these granules. They're called Acini De Pepe, and that's what I'm gonna use in my soup today. Let's go back to our meatball recipe. To our 2 pounds of ground turkey, we're gonna add a zest of 1 orange. Turkey is a very blunt meat, and I think the orange will go well in this recipe. We're gonna add our spices, and we're gonna add our Parmesan cheese, 2 egg whites. The reason I'm adding egg whites, that's gonna make our meatballs extremely soft. We're gonna add our parsley, and we're gonna squeeze that extra milk from that bread we were soaking, and we're gonna add it to our turkey. And it's all about mixing. Just put your gloves on, mix your turkey mix, and make sure you don't have any like unmixed spots there, like there's still some bread showing. So just mix it thoroughly. And yes, you have to make tiny little meatballs out of this turkey, and the tinier the better. I mean, even smaller than the walnut size. And we're gonna boil them ahead of time. We're just gonna put them in a pot of boiling water with some salt, and we're gonna boil them. And you will see in a second why I am pre-boiling the meatballs. When the meat hits the water, and if we would have just added them to the soup directly, it creates a lot of this waste, which is the proteins in the meat, and you will see this white stuff appears on the surface of your pot. By pre-boiling your meatballs, you will have no foam in your soup, so pretty much your soup is gonna look better and the stock is gonna look clear. So as soon as your meatballs float to the top, you can transfer them to your hot soup. Just run your spoon and see how much more of the meatballs you need to add, but don't overcrowd them, and from the leftover meat you can always make something else. We're gonna simmer the soup for about 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes we're gonna add our pasta. We're gonna mix it, and since this pasta cooks very fast, just close your lid and turn off the heat. Let your soup rest for about 10 minutes. This way our pasta is gonna get cooked and your soup is gonna be ready to serve. To serve your soup, you're gonna need some fresh basil, and you're gonna need some cheese, which is called pecorino romano. And you're gonna need a shaver. If you guys are interested in this shaver, I can enclose the link for you down below in the description box. So let's serve our soup. Pour this wonderful soup in a bowl and make sure everybody gets a little bit of everything. So there's enough greens, enough meatballs, and enough of this pasta. And then you can garnish your soup with some fresh basil, and you can add this shaved pecorino romano just right on top of your soup. And trust me guys, this soup is absolutely wonderful. Yes, all the ingredients got married, just one happy family in this big bowl of soup. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.